Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that might not sound too thrilling at first, but trust me, it's important. It's all about organizing those medical records.
Yeah, those files we all kind of hope we don't have to think about too often, but can really come in handy when we need them.
Absolutely, especially when legal matters come into play.
Exactly. And that's where today's source material comes in. We're looking at an article from the Spencer Law Firm's website called, and get this, The Importance of Organizing Medical Records. They even put it all in caps, so you know they mean business. They really do. Now, the article makes a point of saying this task is, quote, tedious yet rewarding. I'm sure we can all relate to the tedious part, am I right? But what makes it so rewarding, especially from a legal standpoint?
Well, it's like this. Imagine you're trying to build a house, right? You wouldn't just chuck all the blueprints in a random heap and hope for the best. No, you need those plans laid out clearly, easy to follow, so everyone involved knows what they're doing.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, organized medical records are basically the blueprints to your health. When they're clear and well-structured, they become powerful tools for legal professionals, helping them understand your medical history and build a strong case if you need it.
So in a personal injury case, for instance, a lawyer could use these organized records to really showcase the extent of someone's injury.
Exactly. They can show the impact those injuries have had on your daily life, the costs involved in your treatment, all of that. It really helps paint a complete picture for the legal team.
Now, the article outlines a few methods for organizing these medical blueprints, if you will. They mention chronological order, organizing by department or specialization, and then by condition. What are your thoughts on the pros and cons of each method?
Well, chronological is a good starting point, for sure. It provides that timeline so you can see how things progressed over time. But let's say you're dealing with a chronic condition, something you've seen multiple doctors for over years. A simple timeline might not be enough to capture the full complexity of the situation. That's where organizing by condition becomes really valuable.
So to use a specific example, if I had a back injury, I'd gather all the records related to that, no matter when they occurred or which doctor I saw. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. That way, when your lawyer looks at those records, they instantly see the full scope of your back issues, how they were treated, any inconsistencies or complications that arose. It creates a much clearer picture for them to work with.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, there was one thing in the article that I've always been a little fuzzy on, and I'm betting some of our listeners might feel the same way. It's like HE pay. I know it has to do with protecting our privacy, but how does it actually play out in real life, specifically with our medical records?
HIPO, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, if you want to get fancy about it, is essentially like a bodyguard for your medical data. And the privacy rule is the muscle behind it. This rule gives you some serious rights when it comes to your records.
Okay, like what?
Well, you have the right to actually see your records, get copies of them, and even request corrections if you find any mistakes, or if you simply disagree with something your doctor has documented.
Hold on, wait a minute. Are you telling me I can actually disagree with what my doctor has written in my file? I had no idea.
You absolutely can. It's your healthcare story, and you have a voice in how it's told.
Wow.
Let's say your doctor notes a symptom you never mentioned, or maybe they interpreted something you said in a way that doesn't feel accurate to you. Under HIPAA, you can request they amend the record to reflect your actual experience.
That is so empowering. It's like you're taking control of your health narrative, making sure it's truly representative of you.
Precisely, and having well-organized records makes exercising these rights even easier.
So it all ties back together. The big takeaway here is that organized medical records aren't just some optional thing. They're crucial, especially if you ever find yourself in a legal situation, like a personal injury case. And HIPAA, well, that's our secret weapon, giving us the power to access those records, manage them, and even change them if needed. Thinking about all this, I have a question for our listeners, and for you too. Have you ever actually taken the time to sit down and read through your entire medical history? What might you discover? And what steps could you take today to make sure your records are not only accurate, but also neatly organized? It's something to consider. And if you're facing a personal injury or medical malpractice situation, well, based on this article, the Spencer Law Firm seems to really understand this whole medical records thing. They could be a great resource to reach out to. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Catch you next time.